Hello, 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 everyone in our Facebook world. Susan Chatzy here, and I have an amazing friend of mine. Her name is Harmony Woodington, and Harmony hails from Canada. Woohoo! She is this gorgeous, magnificent, amazing starlight of power and fierceness. So excited. So, we're going to take a minute to let people sort of find us, to see us being live. We're going to head over to like our Facebook groups and just share this as well. You are more than welcome to share it in your Facebook groups, or you can post it on a LinkedIn, or you can share it on your Instagram, Pinterest, whatever kind of works for you. So I'm just going to pop over. Yeah, you can tag some people. I would highly recommend grabbing your bestie. Grab your mom, your daughter. Grab the women in your life who you absolutely love. You are going to want to hear this, and you are going to want them to hear it as well, because this woman has not had it as easy as she makes it look now.
So true.
Right? Is that not a truthful statement?
So true. Nailed it.
Yeah. And so we're going to go there, and then we're going to go some other places. Yeah. And the thing that I love so much about doing this together is that some of the most flavorful conversations that you and I have been about, trauma, relationships, people, places, things that have happened in our life that we've sort of taken on as our burden, and something that we had to overcome, and it was our fault, or like we had something to do with how that turned out or how that impacted us. And then come to find out that that's not actually the truth. So you and I have gone back and forth, and I've loved those exchanges that we've had because it's really opened up the other doors. And I know as you let things go, I could also feel it, coming off my energy field and coming out and away.
That's beautiful.
For me as well. So I get to receive at the same time I'm facilitating. And that to me is the joy of it. And by the end of our conversations, what started out as like a crisis, like totally turns into this laughing, loving moment.
Yeah.
At the end with us together. And that has just been something that has been, you've been such a grateful gift in my life. And I appreciate that with you. And I'm excited to be here and be a part of this incredible journey, because I know you're stepping out. You're not hiding. You have taken a humongous leap into like next steps and moving forward. And this is humongous. So before we go there, I know you've got some guests too. We've got some surprises for our listeners as well, to be able to meet and know a little bit more about you. But before we invite them on, Harmony, take me all the way back to like when you were a little girl. What was the struggle like?
That is such a good question. I just want to let you guys know that I chose to be born in one of the hottest refining fires I think one can be born in. My father was born he was born post Second World War in Southern Wales. And his father suffered from extreme PTSD. And as a result of that, he really wasn't. And in Britain, obviously, they weren't really open about their emotions and feelings and stuff like that. And so at the dinner table, there was, it was past the salt. There wasn't much you could really talk about that was safe. And so him and his 5 siblings all grew up with serious mental health issues. My father struggles to this day with severe depression and suicidal tendencies. And I have had to deal with my father attempting suicide multiple times and ending up in the hospital, which has been really difficult. And my whole childhood, he wasn't present for me at all. He was a ghost. I always described my father as a ghost. And my mother was severely abused her whole childhood in an occult situation. And it was very extreme. She had a day life and a night life. And the trauma was so extreme that she actually didn't remember what was happening to her at night until she went to marriage counseling with my dad. And later the trauma was surfaced. So it was very traumatic to the point where it was buried back there. And it took counseling to actually help surface that. And what was really rough was my mother was one personality as I was growing up. And then when she actually ended up going to marriage counseling, the woman she became after that, she snapped into a totally different personality and became a shut-in and wasn't cleaning the house and wasn't parenting and wasn't doing anything. And at 11 years old, I had to step up and parent my brother and sister. And I had to make sure that they got to school, and I had to clean the house. And there were 5 people in the house. So it was impossible to keep up after them. I was forced to become somewhat of a shut-in myself as well, because my mother wouldn't let anyone come into our house anymore. And it was so hard to keep up with cleaning up that I was ashamed of the state of my house, so I wouldn't have anyone over anyways. It was such a difficult situation. And my father, being deeply depressed and suicidal, was not much of a provider. So I'm going to be blunt. I grew up in poverty. And I surround myself with beautiful things because I couldn't when I was a kid. I couldn't do any of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to do gymnastics. I wanted to dance. I wanted to do martial arts. I wanted to ride horses. Oh, girls want a pony. I wanted one too. I didn't get one. I didn't get any of the stuff that I wanted. And so I made my own dance class on the hill by my house, and I did my own version of gymnastics, and I found a stick and made that my pony. I figured it out. I used my imagination. But, I think I always knew that I was meant for something so much greater and bigger in all of my struggles. And that's always been in my sights. And so when I grew up, I strived, but at the same time had a deep self-loathing that impeded my expansion. So I ended up becoming a skin therapist because I didn't think that I was actually capable of doing more. I actually didn't believe that I was worthy to be accepted by a university because I believed that I wasn't good enough. I didn't go for a student loan because I grew up in poverty. So obviously I didn't have the money to go to university, but I didn't go for a student loan because I didn't think the government would give me money because I wasn't worth it. Like, that's how low my self-worth was.
I bet you a lot of our listeners and people who are watching, both now and in the future, can relate to what you're talking about, that they didn't feel worthy, like they were less than and not enough, that they didn't fit in, that there was just something wrong about them, that they could never measure up. And I'm so grateful that you're talking about this, and you're talking about it with such power and ownership that it's not from victimhood. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a different energy, a different frequency that you speak about this from. So thank you. Yeah.
And it is definitely coming at it from a
helping people.
Empowerment. Yeah, that's exactly it. And the thing is, working for almost a decade in the specific industry that I was in, I ended up surrounding myself with people who were deeply self-loathing and looking for external fixes. And so like attracts like. So of course I ended up in an environment with people who were self-loathing and insecure. And I ended up developing a deep desire to want to help people on a much deeper level. But I was very insecure and self-loathing myself. So of course I didn't know how to help them, but the desire was there. And when we know that we have a dream and a desire, if we don't find a way to step into it, the universe will push us off the cliff. Is the best way to put it.
It's like you're flying or falling, you choose.
Yeah. So I didn't know that was how the universe worked at the time because I was too young to understand its workings. But now I get it because I was in a major 4-car accident. So I called my son on my way home from work and I said, I'll be there in 7 minutes. He was 12 years old at the time. I didn't make it home. And I ended up with a massive severe concussion, amongst other injuries, that forced me to quit the job that was keeping a roof over our heads. And it was the biggest struggle that I've ever had to overcome, trying to provide a roof for me and my son, not being able to work a job. And I'm not going to lie, I did some work on the DL to survive because I didn't have parents that could help me. My friends clearly were fair weather friends because they scattered. I didn't have a boyfriend. I had nobody to support me financially when I was injured. So it was me and my baby, my 12-year-old. And what's my 12-year-old going to do? Nothing, obviously. So I ended up doing eyelash extensions as a hangover from the career that I had to walk away from. And it was so severe that my angel would set up the massage bed and I'd be on the couch and I would lash a client and then he would collapse the massage bed, put it away, and then I'd fall on the couch. Like, and I could do maybe one a day, and it was enough just to pay the rent. And I'm not gonna lie, I was going to the food bank and stuff to get food because it was really extreme. So the thing that's really important to be mindful about in this, though, was I knew it happened for me. I knew that there was a reason for this. I didn't have the mindset of this happened to me. I wasn't in a victim mindset because I knew I had this wish and I knew the universe shut me down for my own fear of moving forward. And so I kept asking myself, why has this happened? How has this happened for me? And because I kept asking the universe the question, when my brain could process enough to receive the answer, I was in a new home. I had a Scotty. I had a new career, a business that was thriving. I was providing for my sister and her kids. And I was sipping a cup of tea going, I needed a whole life makeover. I just needed a whole life makeover. I get it now. And it was so powerful to realize that the universe was working for me and in support of me, right? And if we can make that paradigm shift to understand that, then we can really thrive. Now, the physical healing really was instigated by me understanding what nutritional things I needed to get into my body to support myself healing. Then shortly thereafter, 2015, so my car accident was 2012 in October. And in 2015, February 6th to be exact, Scotty and I were hanging out and I got a phone call. My dad was in the hospital. He tried to kill himself. And then 5 minutes later, Scott got a phone call that his father was in the hospital with liver cancer in Toronto. I don't even know how anyone could possibly make something like that up. We were both looking at each other going, are you kidding me right now? Like, what are the chances that both of our dads are going like 5 minutes apart? I can't even, like, I couldn't process it. So I went to the hospital and I ratted my dad out and had him put in a facility where he could be supervised and get support. And then when he was all set up and everything, we flew from Vancouver to Toronto and we went there for about a week or so. And we were in the hospital and he was in ICU and I was seeing him hooked up to all the machines. And it was one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen in my life. And I was pacing the halls feeling like an egg that if you tapped me with your pinky finger, I was going to break into a million pieces. I felt so psychologically fragile and I didn't know what to do. And at the time, Scotty had like an insurance thing through his union that allowed for you to be able to make a phone call to talk to somebody to get support. So I paced the halls of Toronto Hospital talking to somebody, I don't remember their name, for 3 hours, just venting, feeling so lost, right? Exactly. And I flew back to Vancouver and they set me up with a psychologist that was quoting Freudian stuff and was not energetically in the room. And the stuff that was coming out of his mouth was so outdated and he was so energetically not with me that I was like, why are you even here? Why haven't you retired? Like, you're not helping me at all. Like, just quit your job. Just give up and go retire in Tahiti or something. Like, just, this is ridiculous. I was so upset because I needed the support and he wasn't showing up for me. And so I called that line again and I went through a couple of other practitioners, but I ended up realizing that they weren't actually able to provide what I needed because I was having a massive existential crisis because my dad said something in the facility that pulled me out of my belief system spiritually. And so now I had lost my sense of who Harmony even was. And I needed somebody to help me more in the loss of who I thought I was that was dictated to me by the church that I was raised by, and to figure out who Harmony was now, to redefine who Harmony was. And I don't know if any of you guys have experienced an identity crisis or just like losing who you think you are and trying to redefine yourself or recreate yourself, but that most definitely was me in that moment. And I ended up walking a path to actually end up discovering a woman who did meditation circles. And what I didn't know was she was a clinical hypnotherapist. And she did a guided visualization with everyone / hypnosis. And I went really deep. And it was really powerful because I went into that hypnosis feeling powerless and lost. And I came out 10 minutes later knowing everything was going to be okay. And I didn't know why, but I knew I had it within me to make it okay. And I went home that night after the meditation, and I sat on Scotty's lap and I gave him a big, huge kiss. And he was like, whoa, what was that for? And I was like, everything's going to be okay. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know. It's just everything's going to be okay. And he was like, all right. And I walked a path to become a clinical hypnotherapist because I'm so passionate that I don't just do the thing, I become the thing. So I learned how to create a harmonious relationship with my own mind, meaning my conscious mind and my subconscious mind. I learned energy healing so that I could learn the language of my mind and body and learn how to not just receive energetically, but engage energetically. So I developed emotional intelligence, energetic intelligence, and the way that it all played out, when I look at it now and who I've become and what I've discovered in this life, is so incredibly like beautiful, really. You know what I mean? I wouldn't ever step back and say that I want to take back any of the hurt that I've experienced, because it drove the passion that I serve my clients with. I discovered that I'm here to flood this earth with love. And the fire that fuels that passion is the pain that I experience. And instead of sitting in the refining fire, I rescued myself and I stepped out of it. And I learned how to create an unconditionally loving relationship with myself so that I could invest in why I'm here on this planet. And I get to hold space for beautiful people, divine beings on the daily, getting to support them stepping into their power and their divine purpose in this life. So I get to serve my soul's purpose and have my soul fed on the daily. So that's kind of my story.
Yeah. So you consider yourself an expansion expert. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the title that I use is Professional Expansion Specialist. And the reason that I call myself that specifically is because of the fact that I'm not about personal growth. When you think about growth, it happens in one direction, right? Somebody just grows up. That being said, what I do is I support my clients expanding in all directions, right? When you look at one aspect of your life or expand in one aspect of your life, it really does affect everything, right? You can't just put everything in a little box and have it not affect everything else in your life. When your personal life is sucking, it affects your professional life, right? So I call myself a professional expansion specialist, and professional because I have always organically attracted professionals and entrepreneurs.
I love that. And, you know, one of the things that I'm just changing up your title here so that way we get it right. Because it's the energy kind of a thing that sort of like pops in for me. So let's see, we're going to roll it on a banner. There she is, personal expansion specialist. That's really small. Let's move it to a banner. Yeah, let's get it big. There we are. Ta-da! Yeah. So Harmony, I know we like went through everything like so quickly, but one of the things, can I just bring you back to something?
Yeah.
So, you know, you talked about having the accident and then physically not being able to be well. You know, it took time to physically, you know, get yourself back on track with that. And, you know, as a single mom myself, you know, it's not easy.
No.
It is not easy. And one of the things I know that is incredibly humbling, you know, as a parent, is that we put our kids first. You know what I mean? And so we will do whatever it takes, whenever it takes, whatever needs to be done, you know, for our kids to be able to have as much of a stable, you know, living situation and a bed night and a routine as possible. And so we really cut, fold, staple, and paste ourselves into like a box. Do you know what I mean? For them. And you know, one of the things I just admire so much about you is you're like, you included him in your healing process. Like he put the massage table together for you. You know, I'm sure he welcomed in and ushered out, you know, your client, you know, you did the work and then, you know, you were done for the day. And our kids, and we both have boys, and
Yeah.
we laugh about this a lot because they're both about the same age too.
Yeah.
That, you know, we have this special relationship with them. It's like they know us at a level that nobody else does. Would
Yeah.
you say that's accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, the bond between me and my angel is so incredibly powerful. We're energetically connected, whether we're close to each other or we're far apart. I can send a thought to him and I know he received it because I've been through that process where I've meditated and I've sent love to him and he has responded to me saying, I'm receiving your love. And it's so beautiful and so powerful. I did also, with my angel, I had a home birth with him, with midwives and a doula, and got to hold him in my arms and nurse him and climb into my own bed with him. And, you know, the bond that we had, I think, as a result of all of the lack of intervention and me just being able to birth him and have him in my arms immediately and being able to nurse him and sleep with him all night long and him not being carted off and taken away from me. And I nursed him for 2 years as well. So, you know, my relationship with him was incredibly close. And yeah, he slept in a bed with me until he was a majority weaned as well. So we were very bonded and very close. And whatever it is that a mother chooses to do, whether it's to be to do a home birth or a hospital birth or to nurse or not nurse, it's up to the individual. And I'm not here to judge anyone. That being said, I know my experience and my choices with my baby. And I know that everything that I have done has created such a powerful bond that when I'm off, he's off. And when I'm good, he's good. And he receives my messages when I send them psychically. And, you know, it's really, really beautiful to have that. I know we're going to be bonded and linked for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, one of the things that we discovered was that like our kids are way more amazing, like way more aware, way more gifted than we are. You know, like the way we were brought up is like, you do what I say, you do what I tell you, when I tell you, all that kind of stuff. And so our parenting style is so different
Yeah.
from our parents to their parents, to their grandparents, even to our friends. Like they look at us and go, what do you mean you're letting him choose what time he's going to bed? What do you mean you're letting him pick what clothes he wears to school? What do you mean you're letting him eat his dessert first and he can wear his Spider-Man clothes to church? I'm like, yeah, because what if our kids know what works for them?
Yeah.
You know, what makes us the authority? You know, we're all infinite beings. They're an infinite being. They just have a smaller body.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you do a great job at honoring him, his choices, his decisions. And I know you do that with your clients. So tell us a little bit more about, you know, what you're doing now and why you've sort of decided to kind of take the next step.
So it was in 2015 when I really got to that place where I realized that I had reached a place on my own personal healing journey that I wanted to create an expedited version of what I had had to trip through on my own to find the answers, right? And the people that I looked to for answers, unfortunately, did not have what I'm providing now. Let's put it that way. It was a slower version. And I naturally have always had a radar for limiting beliefs. I don't know where it comes from. I'm more connected to my divinity. I don't know. But I've always had a radar for limiting beliefs. And so when somebody would call out a limiting belief or speak it, I'd be like, nope, there's a better way to do that. There's a faster way to do it. There's an easier way to do it. And that was how a lot of my teachings were developed, and then also rooted in the foundations of clinical hypnotherapy and energy healing. So I'm certified in pranic healing, energy code, and body code. And the roots of energy code, body code is kinesiological testing, right? And kinesiology has been around since 1960 and was developed by Dr. George Goodhart. And it was very heavily researched, and I would say backed up by more than anyone else who researched it, Dr. David R. Hawkins. He wrote the book called Power versus Force and mapped out the map of consciousness, which is how we vibrate on a scale of 0 to 1,000. Now, today we live in a world where there was just a Nobel Prize awarded for proof of quantum entanglement. And we know that Dr. Bruce Lipton proves that epigenetics is a thing, right? And we know that Dr. Joe Dispenza proves that what we think we create through neurological research that he's done and becoming a neurologist when he was previously a psychologist. The founder of the energy healing modality that I work with is Dr. Bradley Nelson. There's a lot of DRs in the front of all of those names, right? And so what I want to make very clear is, yes, I play in the energetic realm. However, the space that I play in is firmly rooted in science in today's world, which I think we are so blessed to be playing in that space. Where if somebody was to say, you're playing in the woo-woo juju, I'd be like, yeah, and guess what? Science proved it. And if you don't know, feel free to go look at these names, right? I've got a list of them for you. So anyone who's based in logic, it's very easy to get them to come and play with me because I can bridge the gap so that they'll come and play in the unseen. And essentially, back in the day when I started the program, what I did was start a holistic program that was walking through different aspects of my client's life over a 3-month period. Now, since 2015, that program has expanded to upwards of a year. And I've added a lot of intellectual property that I've developed in working to support my clients, creating resolution. I've published a best-selling book, which is right behind me, Create a Healthy Romantic Relationship. I've developed and amassed so much that is in support of my client, expanding in all aspects of their lives, and continue to create to support my individual clients as they come to me needing support. So I am the type of a practitioner that isn't forced to diagnose and then treat you with a protocol. And here's why I don't do that. The reason I don't is because you're now not being treated like an individual. And I see each and every one of you as powerful, divine beings with a unique story, with a unique divine calling in this life that I'm just going to tell you, you actually decided for yourself. Nobody gave it to you. You gave it to yourself. Okay. You are a powerful divine being who chose your path. And it is my job to honor the divine being that you are walking this human existence. So the more I keep you rooted in this human existence, the less you are going to expand into what it is that you're meant to do. And the traditional model doesn't allow for that. It treats you as a statistic. And you get diagnosed based on protocol, and then there's protocol to follow to treat that. So you're not being honored as a divine being within that, which is why so many people have a really difficult time finding resolution. I, however, with the brilliance of what I have chosen to educate myself in, gives me the freedom to be able to walk in and analyze you, the unique divine being that you are, and then walk you through a very systematic program that I've created, but map it out and make it a match for you so that you are owning your power. And when you graduate the program, you are tapping into the all-you-can-eat buffet that is spirituality. You are in alignment with your divine design. You know what you're meant to do in this life. You know how to get the answers that you need within you. The love that you seek from an outside source is now rooted within you because you know how to tap into universal love. It is so powerful when you work with a practitioner that empowers you, that sees you tap into your own brilliance instead of creating a codependent relationship where you have to rely on that person for the rest of your life. I am an ethical practitioner because I empower my clients instead of disempowering them.
I have to tell you, Harmony, that what you're speaking about was so hard for people to understand, like for the longest time, but now they're getting it. The alternative, the holistic, they're like, wait a minute, doctors, on one hand, you're talking like, don't have any salt, it's bad for you. And on the other hand, you're saying we need salt in our diet. And on another hand, you're saying don't have dark chocolate, have dark chocolate, no red wine, have red wine. Like they just keep flipping back and forth. And I know with the pandemic, which is that it's like, don't wear masks, wear masks. wash your hands, don't wash your hands, or, you don't have to wash them all the time, or sanitize and all this kind of stuff, and stay home or go to work. And, just this flipping back and forth, it's like, okay, so like, which is it? Like, you're confusing all of us. And it's, practitioners like yourself who really get out of all that stuff and go, no, let's figure out what's true for you and what's true for your body. And we'll go from there.
It's not about what's good for the masses. It's about what's right for you. And the only one who knows what's right for you is you. And that's the thing, is it's not about an authority telling you what to do with your life. It's actually about you tapping into your own universal intelligence to understand and get clarity on what's right for you. So when my clients ask me for answers, I'm always like, you don't get to borrow my power, honey. I love you so much. You're going to answer that question. And through time and practice, they learn to tap into their own brilliance and stop asking to borrow my power for answers. But we're programmed through society to trust the white coat, right? It's called white coat syndrome.
Yes.
And I absolutely believe that it is a powerful thing, and I get it, and I totally respect it. And, we're taught, like, if you think about, my generation and beyond, the older generations, the parents, you had to respect your elders. You don't speak until you're spoken to, right? Children are meant to be seen, not heard. And there's all this stuff that's telling you that you're a secondary citizen and there's somebody who's above you that you're supposed to respect and that you are beneath and not worthy of or equal to. So of course we grow up and we believe that still our elders or people that are further ahead in this human existence are better than us, but it's not true. It never was true. And when you can have somebody who can come to you and say, yes, I'm an authority because I'm further along on the path and doing what I do. That being said, I am equal to you. I am just holding space and walking you through a path that I have walked, that I am further along on, that's going to actually help you expedite owning your own power, because I am not here to act as though I am better than you and tell you how to live your life like the other authorities have in your life. I'm actually here to show you that you're just as powerful as me, and I'm going to help you get there way faster than I did.
Isn't that the truth, though?
Yeah.
Isn't that the best part of what we do?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm going to tell you, this amazing woman who's interviewing me right now is just as powerful in the work that I do as me. She's phenomenal at what she does. She is my healer. I turn to her for love and support when I need it, because healers need healers. Okay, I've got 2 coaches I'm currently working with. So I firmly believe that we all need to be turning to someone to hold space for us, because when we are in the emotion, when we're triggered, we have no logic, right? High emotion, no logic. So it's so important to have somebody who is separate from the emotion, that can hold space for you to flow the emotion and help you to see what you need to see, so that you can release and flow and flip and change and whatever it is that needs to be done. And Susan does that for me. So I feel incredibly blessed to have called her into my orbit to receive that support, because I'm telling you, there are so few people on this planet who understand the way things should be done and are truly in alignment with universal truth. And Susan is one of them. And I knew the moment that I talked to her the first time that she was one of them, which is why I immediately pulled her into my orbit, because I was like, I need this woman.
What's so funny is when I'm thinking back, I'm like, I don't actually remember what platform we officially met on.
I'm pretty sure it was Facebook. And then we got onto a call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was
on LinkedIn, because those are the only 2 places I played.
So funny. Yeah, I was messaging people looking for potential clients. And then when I met you, because I message everyone with the idea that we're either going to potentially collab for business, or maybe you might potentially be a client. And it was very clear to me when I had a conversation with you that there was going to be collaboration, because you were already absolutely on my level. We were on the same playing field. So, and in fact, I'm going to be very clear that I have so much to learn from you.
Wow. Woo. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot we still have to do here, on planet Earth. We're still in service to humanity and Mother Gaia. So yeah, we've got places to go and people to meet and see, and and affect and contribute to. So you are making a huge leap, and I'd love for you just to share a little bit about it, and then I would like to meet your peeps. Is that
Oh my
okay?
gosh, absolutely. Okay, yeah, let's talk about the reason that we're here.
So
So
this is a huge leap.
it's absolutely massive. And what's really interesting was probably about a month or so ago, I actually experienced some massive shifts in my life. My mother ended up in the hospital and almost passed away. And there were a few other things that happened on a deep personal level that really put me in a cloud. And I really had to, I was surfacing and flowing a lot of emotion. And I decided to take a little bit of a time out. And one of my clients invited me to go and hang out on her ranch. And she has about 1,000 acres that have been owned by her husband's family for about 100 years or so. And I was very blessed to take a time out and to be healed by Mother Nature and the spirits that hang out on that land. And I felt them working on me the moment I stepped onto that land. And I'm so blessed. I was also blessed to actually be asked by the owner of the ranch to bless their ranch. And it's the first time I've had the opportunity to bless a ranch before. So that was a powerful opportunity for me, being able to do that. And I wrote it on a beautiful piece of paper, which they framed and put in their home, which is such a blessing. I'm so in gratitude to have the opportunity to step up to do something like that. So that time out was so healing and freeing for me that when I came back, I was so switched on, turned on, tuned in, downloading, flowing. It was unbelievable. And I saw this FabOver40 competition, and it was not even a thought, to be honest, that I wasn't going to do this. I just immediately saw it and was like, I'm signing up. I don't even know if they're taking people still, but let's go. And I found out that it was in support of breast cancer. And what I ended up, realizing was this is something that I feel very, very powerfully towards, because my dad's sister, Joy, my aunt, passed away of breast cancer. And it was shocking and devastating and unexpected. And so it was a really, really big deal. I personally haven't had to live it, but I've lost an aunt to it. And it devastated me. And so to be in alignment with something that is creating awareness about breast cancer that affected me personally, and I know affects so many families and people, I want to scream off the rooftops about this. One, in support of the families that have lost people, and two, in support of the female warriors who have survived and are loud and proud, telling their story and showing their chest when they've had mastectomies and all that. I have seen some of the goddesses and the stories they're telling and how they hold space to share their story. And I am blown away by those women. And so I am doing this one to further what I am meant to do on this planet, which is to flood this earth with love, because there's $40,000 on the line. I want that money. I want that money. I also want to raise funds for breast cancer awareness. There's also a 2-page spread in their amazing magazine, because exposure is always good for your name and to help me flood the earth with love. So for me, really, it's a massive step putting myself out there. But I think, the timing is right and everything is right. And I have been on a path to step into my greatness and to flood the earth with love. And so when this showed up, it was just perfectly aligned, and there wasn't a thought. I just did it.
You just jumped in.
Yeah.
Like, well, the water's not that deep. Here I
go. Shallow or deep, I'll find out when I'm in it. I learned my lesson the first time when I had a thought about doing something and didn't do it, and the universe isn't nice. So I'm just going to take the leap, okay?
Yeah, it's better, easier said than done. But, you stepped into that. You really did. And so you're in competition right now. It's round 1. And yes. So tell us where you are in that journey, because I know you just ranked up.
Yeah, so I am actually currently in 3rd place right now. And round 1 ends Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'd love to see a number 1 above my name if all goes well before that round ends. They're going to be taking the top 20 from each group, and we will move on to round 2. Now, I'm going to let you know there are going to be multiple rounds to this, and it will be going on until the middle of December. So I'm just going to let you all know I will be pestering you until this ends. I am going to be absolutely calling upon you on the daily to vote for me, to donate, and to support me through this, because this is purely motivated through votes. It is the public that needs to vote for this to move this forward. There is no other way to do it. There are no judges that are going to look at me and say, yeah, you're FabOver40, you win. It's not how it goes.
So the universe contest.
Yes, I need everyone out there. I need the public to show up and to decide that I am a worthy candidate to be voted to be FabOver40 this year. And I didn't mention I'm 43. I turned 43 this summer. So I know you guys might be looking at me going, how is she going for FabOver40? She's 20 something. No, I'm 43 years old. So that even further, I think, just makes it clear how fabulous I am at 43. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because everything's energy. So yeah. And you have this vibrant, like aura that you just resent. Like you come before your body comes. Like your energy arrives first, and then your body catches up with you. It's like, oh, Harmony's here. Yeah, there she is.
That is so true.
Yeah. And like, that's a skill. That's a gift. You teach that to your clients, no more hiding, no more veiled, no more shading, no more shackled, yes. We're done with that. We've been there. That's the old paradigm. Now is the time for the feminine, the divine feminine, to get started. So cool. So you have some guests for us to meet.
I have called upon 2 people who I love and adore to come into my home to share their story with me. One of them lives with me, and the other one has come to hang out with me in support of me. So I will be stepping aside so that one of them can come here and sing my praises and tell all you guys why they love me so much.
Of course, we would not have it any other way. Who's going to come in first?
I would like to call Jessica.
Hello, gorgeous.
Great spots. Have a seat, gorgeous.
I feel like I'm now in the boss's seat.
Well, of course you are.
I'll be boss number 2, being mentored by Harmony.
I spelled her name wrong. Yeah, so we're just throwing up some banners here. Harmony. So that way people have a reference point as to, there you go. Because your name still said Harmony on it, and it had her last name. Like, they're going to know something's not going right here.
Yeah, they'll be like, I'm sorry, the hair's a bit shorter and it's not vibrant red.
You've got the shirt on. You got the memo.
Yeah, I mean, we got that one.
Cool. So Jessica, tell me, how did you meet Harmony?
That's actually quite a funny story. I work part-time in retail. So I was actually just working one day, and this tall, beautiful woman walks in, and she was looking for bikinis. So I was like, how can I help you? And then we were just chatting. We just really got along. And there was that instant kind of friend connection that I think we both felt.
Yeah.
So she gave me her number, and she was just like, no, we can chat about things and everything. So ended up messaging her, and then I hung out with her and Scotty for the first time. It went from what we were thinking we're just going to be a cup of tea to we had tea, then we went on a hike and all of this stuff. And now
I hear an accent. Are you from London or Scotland?
No, I'm actually from South Africa.
South Africa. Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
I moved here January 2021.
Oh, so recently.
Yeah.
And how long have you known Harmony?
Sorry?
How long have you known Harmony?
I think it's been about 4 months now, but it kind of feels like I've known her forever, which is weird. Literally within a week of knowing her, I think I felt like I'd known her for ages.
Yes. And you were saying you went for tea, and then it just kept.
Yeah, and then it's like now it's like I think I see them at least like 3 times a week. I mean, we even have like a little group chat on like WhatsApp. So I mean, I've gone to the UK for a cousin's wedding. I just got back from Mexico, and that entire time we're always chatting. So
That's a beautiful thing, isn't it? When you just feel like you've met your like best friend
yeah,
that you've known your whole lifetime, but you've only known physically, actually, technically.
yeah. I mean, I'm very lucky that I've had a few instances of that here, like moving to a place that I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
And then like I felt like I'd found all of my people, like, and then, you know, Harmony comes along as well. So then I find more people and I'm like, yay.
Right. Another playmate.
Yeah.
So tell us about, because she is in competition for being the woman fabulous over 40 for the magazine, the New Beauty magazine. What is your favorite fabulous moment with Harmony?
So I think this is like one of the most difficult questions for me because I actually have so many fabulous memories with her. Even like ones that may seem mundane. But it's just like I think like a lot of my really important memories that I have so far with her is that she's kind of like taking me on and like she's more like a mentor to me. So I've just learned so much from her, like, you know, spiritually, you know, personally. So like I feel like I've been on a kind of healing journey that like on my own, and it's just kind of speeding up with her like help. But like another thing, it's just like, you know, I like, for example, it was my birthday in September, and for that, like I always kind of get like a little bit of a depressive dip around my birthday, not because I'm aging or anything like that. It's just what happens with me. And she and Scotty just made it like super special for me. They're just like, okay, you're putting on like your fanciest ball gown. And this is the night that you're going to have nothing planned. And they made, you know, reservations at like 5-star restaurants, and there was like a little group of us. And it was just amazing company and just like all of the positive energy, and made it like really memorable and fun. And then also like I cried so many tears because like they gave me the most special birthday present, which I'm actually wearing right now. So yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like she's like always with me then, which is really special. So
That
yeah.
is, I heard about your birthday dinner.
Yeah.
It was an extravaganza.
Oh yeah.
This is not, you are playing it way down, sister. Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah, it was not, we just went to this restaurant for dinner. No.
Oh no, it was like, you know, the 5-star restaurant, we were in the hills. It's like, you need to go to the rooftop of like a super fancy hotel.
Yes.
It was the whole spiel.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna get to come home to homemade cake of like my choosing of flavor. So
That is
I had a fabulous birthday.
And isn't that amazing how it just showed up that way? You know, harmony and this magic.
Yeah.
Magical friendship.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, it's interesting to me because like I've never really had the whole thing of like, you know, my friends have to be my age or anything like that. So my entire life I've had some friends that were, you know, years older than me, years younger than me. And like we connected like instantly, and it's like I also just thought, I was like, well, she can't be that much older than me. So that's also why like when she sent me the link that she like, you know, applied for this little competition, I was just like, yes. Okay, I almost swore there, sorry. Because it's just like I feel like in terms of the fab like over 40, like number one, like I still don't understand how she's over 40. I mean,
she does not look at all over 40.
No, and it's also, I think, her energy, and it's not that it's like a youthful energy, which it is. It's a magic energy. That's the only way I can explain it. Sorry, I can't explain it any other way.
So when I describe her, like her energy comes before her, like you're like, oh, Harmony's here. There she is.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like, yeah. So you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. And
so
I mean, even like when you ask about like magic moments as well.
Yeah.
Like there's been a few times which like, you know, she's helped me a lot already with like my healing journey and the issues that I am currently dealing with. And I remember the one time I was in a really bad space and I literally like got here and like, no, I actually got in the car because she fetched me, got in the car and she was like, what's wrong? Your energy's off. And I'm just like, I was like trying to hide it, but okay. And then literally within about 10 minutes of being in her presence, like I was already feeling like this lifting of like the negative energy that I felt was like really like plaguing me. So it's just like, that's another little amazing thing.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
The fab moment.
So
I love it. So tell us, so we need to vote every day to get her to #1. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we've got to set a reminder on our phones.
Yes. So I do mine. I try to do mine first thing every day. So you get 1 free vote every day. And if you'd like to donate, because obviously like the breast cancer awareness is really amazing. I love the fact that they're actually linking how much you can donate to also like votes as well. So if you wanted to donate, which I really recommend, if you'd like to donate, that every dollar, I believe, is another vote. So if you guys would like to donate, please do and vote for Harmony because she's definitely one of the most fabulous human beings ever.
That is so cool. So tell us why you believe that we should vote for Harmony. What makes her the candidate to be the fabulous over 40 winner for New Beauty Magazine?
Ooh, well, number one, in that spread, she's going to look absolutely stunning. I mean, she's beautiful inside and out. And I think because this is a competition where there's such a big cash prize, for me, when I look at competitions that are like that, it's just like, well, what's this person going to use that money for? And the thing is, like, people can read into things on like what people are going to, you know, spend the money on. But the fact that she actually just wants to like use the money to really like get herself out there and be able to help people and just, as she says, like spread the world with love. Like there's no more pure that you can get from that. And I feel like it's also, if people can like vote for her, get to know her and everything like that, even like through the spread of the magazine, you know, she'll be able to get so much further, so much quicker. She has a huge future ahead of her, but this could be like something that makes it a little bit quicker.
That is beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sharing that with all of us and explaining how it works so we can get on board with this and really support Harmony in a really big way. Jessica, are we going to see you back here again maybe when we do our next one together?
I'm sure you will, because yeah, I mean, I'm always here anyway. I basically just move in. But yeah, I'll probably be here the next time. I'll be on my phone every day of the competition voting. Nice. And hopefully we get a whole bunch of you to join in with that.
Well, would you help us out? So we have posted this on Facebook, and I know Harmony is streaming this live on her TikTok channel. Would you put like your story of, you know, how you met her in the notes, in the comments of that, and share the link for other people? Because once they read what you've said, it'll be a huge inspiration for them to choose to place their vote, especially to someone so worthy, you know, of such an amazing prize as not so much necessarily the money, but the visibility within the magazine, but also the fact that, you know, her target and her goal is to bring a lot more love to the planet. And boy, could we use it, huh?
Oh, yeah. Definitely need more of the love in this earth. But yeah, I'll do that. I shared this link already on my story, but I'll go ahead and share my story on the little comments as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So much for having me.
Yeah, it was so nice to meet you in person, even though I heard about your story, your birthday story.
And I've heard all the great things about you, so it's nice to finally kind of meet.
Yeah, in person. So cool. Virtually. All right. So is there somebody else there with you?
That there is. It's your turn. Should we do drum roll?
Ding.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Of course you are. You're in the, you got two ladies with you.
Of course.
So tell us who you are and how do you know Harmony?
Sorry, what was that?
What was that? What did you say? I missed it.
They're over there being cute.
Oh, of course. It's natural. They're just being natural with it. So how do you know Harmony? How'd you guys meet?
Oh, this is a long story. Condensed Cole's notice version. I was living up in Fort McMurray, Alberta, and she came up to see her sister, who I actually befriended. And I saw one look at her, and I just was drawn to this woman. So for the next 4 months, I talked to her every day on the phone. I video chatted with her every day. She took off for 5 weeks to go to Portugal, and I still talk to her every day. She got sick in Portugal, and I sent her flowers.
Oh, Scott.
So then when she came back, we had a discussion. I asked her to be my girlfriend, and yeah, that was 9 years ago. So
wow, yeah. Congratulations.
It's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Yeah, you're coming up on a decade. Can you believe it?
No. It feels like it's been like a year or two.
You know, like when you're 10 years old, you're going into middle school, Scott. So like that's a long time.
Well, the average person is, I don't know.
Like you've done grade school together. Now you're going to be in the big leagues.
Right?
Middle school and high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. How cool is that? So tell us your most fab moment with Harmony.
God, geez, there's so many. We've taken trips together. We went back to my home in Ontario together. There's I can't pinpoint any one thing. Just spending time with Harmony alone, it's fabulous. Like I come home from work and I crawl into her arms, and it's just bliss. It's where I am meant to be. So to say, give me one example, it's like, pick your favorite child. Like you just can't do it. There's
impossible choice to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So how has your life changed since you've met Harmony?
Oh, it hasn't. Not at all.
Oh, I can definitely see that. You're just lying through your teeth. The girls are there and they'll take care of you later. I know.
I know they will. When I met Harmony, I was, in every essence of the word, redneck. I was knuckle dragon Neanderthal, just two brain cells, one lost, the other one looking for it. Like just nothing. I had no motivation in my life. I had no desire to do anything. I was working up in Fort Mac in the oil fields trying to just make money, and that was it. I had no real sense of purpose. And from the time that I met Harmony until now, it has completely changed. I have purpose in my life. I have meaning. I look forward to the future, and I plan more out for it. And what's the phrase I'm looking for? Just that everything's more methodical and planned out. And
it actually has a meaning.
Yeah. And I'm no longer as much of a redneck, although every once in a while I still bring it out.
Is it in your words or actions or behavior?
Give me a week back at home and it's there.
She has to retrain you when you get back, huh, Scott?
That's it. It's my vocabulary, my attitude, it's all still very much there.
Excellent. Well, I asked Jessica if she would share in the comments her fabulous moment, how she's met and how the two of them have really connected. Would you also share, your, I guess, just knowingness of who this woman was the minute you met her, and how that's impacted your life? Because I know this is going to all attribute to the story that she's going to be creating and that she'll be able to share with, not only now, but in the future with her clients, but as well with, her coaching community, and with, everybody who's just out there, who's just looking for like a great motivational story. People today are looking for a reason, the hope, and Harmony really gives that to them.
Yeah, for sure. In spades too. She's very much a positive person, and just being in her orbit, you can't help it but just feel it.
Yeah, in her field of influence. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So why should we vote for Harmony each day?
It's in the title, Fabulous Over 40. I mean, and you can't really describe Harmony in one word. And it's more than just fabulous. It's energetic. It's poetic. It's driven. It's education. It's everything. And Harmony, just without sounding typical, Harmony deserves it. She really does. Like, it's hard to put into words, especially from some knuckle dragging Neanderthal. I'm not eloquent, but it's people need to know who Harmony is, and this is one step in that journey.
Yes, I totally agree. Everything that she has overcome, persevered, and is headed into is just astronomical, really. Like, it blows the charts.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Cool. Is there any last minute thing that you'd like to share before we bring Harmony back on?
Nothing I can think of. I've never been a big fan of being in front of the camera, and being put on the spotlight. She's just wonderful. She's awesome, and this is gonna do big things for her.
And here you are supporting her. Congratulations.
Absolutely. I will support her for the rest of my life.
I love it. Thank you for being a part of this today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we're going to say bye to you, Scott. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You have a great rest of your evening.
You too.
I love my knuckle dragging Neanderthal.
I was like, wow, I didn't see that one coming. Woo!
Jess and I are sitting in the background when he's talking about me. We're both like, oh.
I know. I can feel, the tears, the heart's melting. I got it. And we have it on tape now, so he can't.
I'm going to let you know that, like, these two people that are showing up for me right now, Jess is right. Like, when she says that we haven't known each other long, but it feels like we've known each other forever, it does very much feel that way. She's a soul sister, and she's so much younger than me. And yet at the same time, it's so beautiful and perfect. And what she didn't share is that I actually was the same age as her. I was 27, and I met a mentor that was 42 that helped me to step into the woman that I am. And I was 42 when I met her, and she was 27, and we're now 28 and 43. So we were the same ages. And I said, when I found that mentor that helped me, that I wanted to do the same for a young woman when I was old enough to mentor someone. And boom, Jessica showed up, right? And she's there giving me the opportunity to give back to a young woman that was the same age that I was when I had a mentor step up for me. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm a better mentor.
Of course you are. We wouldn't have it any other way, right?
Yeah, exactly. But, Scotty, he's right when he says that he's going to support me for the rest of my life. I met him when I had a severe concussion amongst other injuries. I wasn't working a job. I was a hot mess of a human, and he came into my life and he lightened the burden. He took care of me. He supported me when I was at my absolute worst. He thought I was the hottest thing when I was at my worst.
Man, you're walking on water now, girl.
Now he's got me. He absolutely deserves to have my back and to ride my coattails when I'm at my best, because that man has shown me that he will always have my back when I'm sick and when I need support, injury. It doesn't matter what it is. He's got my back, and to no end, unconditional love. In fact, I want to be clear that this man taught me what unconditional love looks like. He really did. And so he really undersells himself when he tells the story of who he is, because he does lack eloquence, and yet he's one of the most amazing people that I've ever met in my life. And I'm going to tell you that I feel blessed to have a cheerleader who has my back so that I can do what I'm meant to do on this planet. He is the one who's behind me, supporting me, and he's got my back when I'm down and I'm crying and I'm not knowing if I can keep going. He helps me keep going. Like, he's just my everything. So I feel so blessed to have these two people showing up, you know, sharing to you why they believe that I'm worthy of this. And just for me, getting to hear those words from them is so beautiful, because having your brilliance reflected back at you, I think, is one of the most beautiful gifts anyone can receive.
It's powerful. It really is. All right, Miss Hot Stuff. It has been a blast tonight chatting with you. And I know I just put up your personal expansion specialist. How can people find you if they'd like to know more?
If you want to learn more about working with me, just look up harmonywoodington.com. My URL is my name. I kept it simple.
I love it. Would you also place it in the comments?
Yes.
So that people who are, you know, maybe aren't here now for whatever reason, you know, get to see it in the future, or it gets sent to them by, you know, one of their friends who said, you have to listen to this. You have to hear this woman's story, where she's been, you know, what she's overcome and what she's doing next. Because I think that is the powerful aspect of who you are and where you're going.
Thank you so much for holding space for my story. That means so much. And we'll definitely make sure that you have the link. And Susan made it so clear how incredibly important it is to maybe set an alarm on your phone and vote every day, because that's the way this is going to be won. And I really just want to thank everyone in advance who is choosing to support me so that I can flood this earth with love, because it's the thing that matters to me more than anything in this life. I'm just going to tell you right now, my angel matters to me. I love my baby, but my soul contract is the thing that I'm serving more than anything in this life right now. So support to be able to step into that even more so is so incredibly valuable to me. So make sure you click on the link to vote for me. And if you want to know about how you can work with me, go to harmonywoodington.com and you can book a free soul connection, and we can have a conversation about how I can show up for you.
That is beautiful. So we're going to put the link in the comments so that you can vote for Harmony, and you can, you know, save that, put it in your phone, email it to yourself, whatever you works best, however you do it best for yourself. So we can get you to number 1. And I know you're at number 3 right now, and you jumped from yesterday to today. So I can't wait to see where this leads and where it goes. And you said that there is a final deadline. Tell us one more time when this first.
Right now, the deadline for the first round is Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so that's the first round. So if we can get me up 2 more spots, I'll see a number 1 next to my name, which I would really love and appreciate. So as soon as you see this, click on the link and start voting.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Harmony. It has been an honor and a privilege of me being able to interview you, to get your story out there, to, you know, lift you up, to really put a spotlight on everything that you're doing now. And hopefully in the future, we're going to see you in a magazine. I cannot wait for that to happen.
Me too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody. See you soon. Until then, ciao.
Bye.